Good morning. Welcome to another Sunday Sound Sessions with myself, Ewan Smith. I've still not been able to fix this twittering video, which is kind of odd because the devices are fine and the web is fine. I think this is a handling situation. I have not yet updated to the new iOS 26. However, good to see you all. We will crack on because we are live. So today we're going to have a look at how, well, I've actually heard from quite a few of you about a few things this week, so I thought I would cover these in this live today. And one of them was how I can integrate Elgato hardware and software into triggering the sound libraries in Logic Studio. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And also talking about Wordbuilder as well, because Wordbuilder has been the videos that I put out the last couple of weeks. And I've been getting some questions on those again. So I'm hoping to hopefully help you out with this today as well, if everything works out as it should. So you're not having to look at my twittering face too much, we're just going to zoom over to Logic now. And here we've just got a simple kind of template which I have brought up just to demonstrate a couple of things I'm going to talk to you about today. Now the first one is that BBC Symphony Orchestra is a library which I've enjoyed using, and I've done very many videos on how you can use the library with Elgato, and so I'm hoping that me showing you this will help you kind of learn two ways that you can have new functionality. And of course, one of those ways is with an Elgato Streamdeck, and it is now possible to do away with the hardware version of the Streamdeck and have both a 15 and 32 button press version for your phone or iPad, and then have that communicating wirelessly, because ultimately I don't have many USB ports, and certainly being given wireless, it could be the reason why we've got issues today. But I've only got 3 camera angles, and so this also is an angle as well, which I'm bringing into Switcher Studio, which I use to do all my live streams. So the Elgato is really useful. So I've got here, not the version I was going to show you, but if I just load up actually the template that I was going to show you, I'm just going to load up BBC SO Pro. This is one I did 5 years ago, I think now. And I did a video on that. Do check that on the channel. But of course, 5 years ago, things can change. So ultimately what I've got here is I have got a Streamdeck profile for a 15-button Streamdeck. I've also got an XL version as well. And there are different options here. So you've got where, you know, the left-hand side, you can open a file, open the software. You can then open and close the BBC SO plugin, which over the course of updates has failed to work in the last Logic update, as key presses have become null and void and obsolete. So I'm going to show you how you can fix those as well. But I'm really interested in showing you the techniques that I've done. I've done these in a range of different folders. And what I've done is I've created a variety of key presses that can be done. So if I just show you this on the actual computer, can I get this any larger? No, I can't. So I'm just wondering if I cannot make this any larger on this screen, unfortunately. But I've got here a 15-button profile, which I've got legato here. And if I was to double click on that, you can see I've got multi-actions linked to that. Now I'm going to show you another way, which is going to be quite useful. And that is involving the new Elgato Marketplace. And it's not new. It's probably been out for about a year or two now. And the idea with the marketplace is you can then add additional functionality to your profiles, whether you've got a hardware or a software-based profile. So no longer do you need the actual hardware unless you've got plenty USB. So I've got 2 options here. You've got MIDI, which is a really useful way to be able to control various MIDI devices with touch of a button. And also you've got MIDI button. Now MIDI button, I think, I've had more joy with, more sort of success with. So I'm going to show you how we do that. I'm going to show you in real time, hopefully if I can remember. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. So you can see basically it just says button to send MIDI events. Now those could be note on, note off, MIDI CC, those sorts of things. And those of you who are involved in that will know what I mean. But I'm going to get this and I'm going to install this hopefully. Now I'll come off here so that I can install my profile and use my username and password. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to download it for macOS. So you'll be able to see here then that we're going to click get, and then we're going to do open in Streamdeck, and then allow. And then this will open in the side of the Streamdeck option here. So we make this larger. We can see that we've got MIDI buttons just on the bottom right hand side. So we've got MIDI note, MIDI CC toggle, program change, MMC. So what we're going to do is we're going to update this profile here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change these. So hopefully I should just be able to, well, actually what I might do is delete this completely. Now I've included images and things on here, so we don't really want to lose this. So we want to be able to set from file. Okay, no problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag over and think what I might do is just for the purposes of demonstration, we're just going to move it over here. We're going to drag in MIDI note, and then we're going to drag in, it says here MIDI channel, MIDI note, MIDI velocity. Now to help you with this, to help me more likely, is we're also going to show you how I have it set up already at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up with the Rodecaster app, and I'm just going to show you how these pads work. So I've got here MIDI legato, MIDI long. I've actually pre-programmed these in, and if I was to select one of these pads, you can see hopefully on the screen that it will say it's a note signal, note 0, which is basically the first kind of signal that it sends BBCSO. It's got to be on channel 1 and it's got to be on. So in other words, if it's on, it's like when you press it, it gives you the full signal. So on and off, I think is 0 and 127. And then I have set it here to press and release. So in theory, when we go into Logic, and let me just show you that for a second, we'll just minimize that and minimize the other one. We're going to go into Logic here. We've got an instance of BBCSO. And as I press my Rodecaster, what you will see is the legato change to long CS, long flautando, spiegato, staccato, pizzicato, collegno, and then we zip over to the next one and it skips over to the next. So I can actually, using the Rodecaster, let me just show you this in real time as I do this as well. So as I am pressing this, I am basically changing on the screen the instances of those articulations. Okay, and I can jump around there quite usefully, quite successfully. So we want to be able to apply that to the Streamdeck. So you can use any pad-based MIDI interface that you want to be able to affect this change. So if you've got a keyboard, for example, that has above it touchpads, much like the Rodecaster, you can set those touchpads to do exactly the same. So just to remind you, if I just show you again, and we'll just minimize this screen because we don't need it anymore. If I just show you the Rodecaster screen again, so you can see when I click on, and let's go back to the original. Let's go back to the original here, legato. You can see I've got here, it's a note type. We've got here channel 1 and it's on, and I've got press and release. So we want to then apply that to the Streamdeck. So let's nip back to the Streamdeck. And you can see here that it's very unhelpfully exited that profile. So let's go back in, go back into techniques. Let's go back into strings, and then more, where I drag this. So we want MIDI channel 1. We want MIDI note 0, and we want it to be 127. And we want this to be on push. Okay, like this. Hopefully, this should be legato. I'm just going to make this capitals. Legato. All being well, this should work. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly switch to a different articulation over in the Rodecaster. Let's hope this doesn't reset to this, but we'll see how it goes. I am doing this live. So it could. Let's just set it to, let's just tap it to tremolo. Okay, so you can see that I've just triggered the tremolo button, and then we go back into Logic, and then you can see it's on tremolo. Now I hope when I press my my blue button here that says legato on the Streamdeck, I'm going to hope that it then changes to legato. Let's see if I have got it to work. Okay, let's see then. I'm going to tap, and has not worked for some reason. Let me just see the reason why. Let me switch back. So this could be a communications thing with Logic. It seems to be some of the devices are working, some of them aren't quite so well in terms of the way they work. So let's just check this out. MIDI channel 1, MIDI note. Now this also could be to do with Yeah, setup. Yeah, okay. This is something that I remember. It's been a while since I've done this. Just gonna check USB. And I think you have to select Logic Pro Virtual in and out like this. And then I'll just check. Yeah. All right. So hopefully this will mean when I go back, and let's keep this window open actually. Yeah, there we are. So I tap the legato button and you can see then it went and switched to legato. Okay. So I'm just going to show you again. Switch back to tremolo. And then on the button push here, I'm going to tap the Elgato that I just set up. And there you can see when you go back to Logic, it's switched to the legato one. So I'm going to tap back on the Rodecaster to tremolo and then back on the legato. So I will definitely update this now with this new option. So just to double check again, to cycle through all these options, you want to be able to change these. Now, if I go back to the Rodecaster, you will see that the Rodecaster, let me just find the option. Where's the app? Here we are. So the Rodecaster, I'm going to go to back to legato again. You can see that's on channel 1, 127. If I click to long, you'll see then it goes up to the next note 1. Next one, note 2. Next one, note 3. So the only change is the note number. So you could apply that really easily to the Elgato. And what you can do is, I might just copy that and then paste. And then this one, I'm going to call long. And it's kept all the other parameters, but we want the note this time to be 1. So we change that. So hopefully when I go back to selecting those two, let's go back to the instance of legato. And let's see if it works for long. Doesn't for some reason. Let's just check the reason why. Could just be needing to update. So let's just select this MIDI note. It's reset it to 1 again. That's interesting. To 0 again. So we don't want 1127. We want 127 MIDI velocity. Check, did I do that? No, I did on this one as well. Okay. So we've got 0 on the legato and 1 on here. So let's just check both of those are working. So we'll tap on the legato and then you can see we've changed to the longs. So we can see that here. You'll see when I change that on the phone, got legato and then long, and it changes it. And you can see here we've got legato and long. So whatever you do, if you use a physical device or a virtual device, in other words, a mobile phone, which I would highly recommend now because mobile phones, I've got a spare one here that I've had replaced quite recently. So it's really useful to have this just as an extra screen, an extra kind of source that you can. So the way you can then cycle through, then you can then change these to update. So again, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste. The next one is long CS. Just going to put this, which means con sordino with the mute. And then we're going to change the note number to 2. So we've got 0, 1, and 2. Oh, it's defaulted back to 1. We're going to watch that. It's interesting. It doesn't seem to remember. Maybe I have to press return. There we go. So we go 0, 1, and 2. So hopefully now we go back to here. We go legato, long, and long CS. So that's working beautifully. So imagine you're playing your actual music. So we can have a look at the strings here. But if I play this with the left hand, and you can see in here this changing. Hopefully here's the legato. We'll change to long. And then long con sordino. Yeah, so basically you've got there now the ability to update all of your articulations with these new instructions. So there was a while which I found, especially when transferring over to USB-A and USB-C, that it really had a problem communicating with old ports and new ports with a hardware device. But now you've got the option with Spitfire Audio and also Elgato to be able to put in this new option here with the MIDI button, and then with one touch you can then change that. So if you're someone that can't quite afford the Rodecaster Pro 2 yet, or Rodecaster Duo, then the mobile phone app option is a good one. Now, do bear in mind that when you get the app, you will probably only be able to have 5 different pads available to you. You will unlock that with a one-time purchase, which is still cheaper than an Elgato Streamdeck though. So once you've bought the one-time purchase, you've unlocked it for any size of Streamdeck. So it's well worth having a look at those as well. So that is definitely worth doing for BBCSO. However, having said that, we now also need to look at Wordbuilder, because I know I've had a lot of questions about Wordbuilder, and it's been quite a fascinating experience to revisit Wordbuilder again. So we're just going to shut down this one, and then we're going to go into a brand new sound. So we're going to choose a new software track, and then we're going to go into Opus, which is obviously the East-West. We're going to select East-West, Opus, and Stereo. So with this one, I mean, I've spoken before at length on videos. I've also talked quite a lot that I've got a course which is available, and I'm updating it all the time. You can access that for a very low monthly cost. Check out the links down in the description below. And also, if you are watching this live or on the replay, do let me know where you're watching it from, and let me know if that first section was useful for you with the Streamdeck and the phone as an option. So it's set to pianos in this sound at the moment, but we want to go to Hollywood choirs. So we're going to go to Hollywood choirs, and we're going to select, let's select the women's choir. We're going to select Women WB Multi, double tap that, just check it's the right sound, all the different instances here. And we're going to go to perform. And that brings up the Wordbuilder window here. And at the time of recording, you cannot increase the size of the Wordbuilder video, which would be really useful. It stays where it's put. An update on this would be amazing. So let's show you this on the screen so that you know what I'm doing. Apologies. So here we are, we've got Wordbuilder. That's the biggest I can make it, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. In fact, can I increase the size of the screen? Let me just see if I can do this live. I'll make this a bit bigger for you. And if I do this, will that work? Will that allow me to zoom in? Let's see if we can do this. Okay, this should hopefully be better for you. And then done. Does this work? There we go. There we go. I've just got rid of me, so let's get me back. I'll just go into the original screen. Here we go. Because it's an overlay, it's got rid of me, but that's fine. It'll focus the mind. So here we've got the Wordbuilder environment here, and we've got a new beginning, which is the standard one. Now, someone had asked me about the word lie. Now, if we play this, sounds like Lee. So some people were basically saying, I would love to know how to be able to get lie. Now, the first protocol is checking out the English phrases on the right-hand side. Hopefully you'll see some of these. Now, we want to be able to have something that has an I sound in there. So we have a quick look through, and we've got infinity, I will pray. Now, we could probably use the I of I will pray. So we're going to remove the lie, and we've got I. And we're just going to take it that I will pray and leave with I. So we've got small a, capital E, and this is what it sounds like. It sounds almost like ah. So we want to be able to go and try and add in. And this is what I usually do. I usually add in, I know vowel sounds that you would want to end it with. So I'm just adding a Y. So you've got A, capital E, small Y. And all I need to do hopefully now is just to add an L. Now, small L. You can hear then that it sounds more like lie. So that's small L, small a, capital E, small Y. So yes, oops, I just realized they were a bit hot on the computer audio there. Sorry about that. So that sounds more effective. And of course, as we've spoken about in other videos, you can then change that sound. You can select each of these at the bottom. And we can maybe shorten the sound of the ye, of the lie. We can shorten that here so that it will sound like this. So you can make it even better. And you can then change the way in which this is shaped. So for example, if you wanted to change if it was more of an A or more of an E, you could then reduce or diminish that. So let's reduce that down. You can hear how that sounds, that change. So yeah, that's basically how you would then effect the change of lie. So with small l, small a, capital E and Y, you can then improve that. So if I was then to add in more phrases, and we could go back to English and we can add in some more, I grant them rest, or lie, or insanity, infinity, I will. Okay, let's just say I will lie. So I will lie. Okay, and what you can do is you can just cut this, paste it to the end of the phrase. Here we are, make sure that we are no gaps at the beginning. And then I will lie. Here we go. Okay, so I, any sort of I sound, small a, capital E, will work in your favor absolutely tremendously. Okay, so once you've figured those out, have a little go of that and really enjoy and have a bit of fun with that too. So yeah, that is a really good and quick way to get the words of lie or any sort of I sounding words, small a, capital E, and then you can then change and tweak the sounds within the editor, the tone editor down below. You can then change the length of each sound. So say I wanted a really long A at the end. Obviously that's a bit too long, so you can then just undo that, but you can do it to your heart's content, and it's actually rather good. So powerful tool there for you to be able to use and harness to your heart's content. So really when you are looking at this, you can just easily sort of see that when you are playing those sounds, so you've got the best of every world there, and it's quite a powerful tool to be able to do that. So enjoy that and let me know in the comments how you get on. So I'm going to be doing more in terms of Wordbuilder. We're going to be doing smaller based tutorials, shorter based tutorials that'll be a bit more easier to search. They will be available on YouTube in the coming weeks. They will also be available on my course, as I said, mentioned that before. If you visit the links below or go to ewansmithmusic.co.uk/courses, you'll be able to find that and many others. And indeed, if you want to, I'd urge you to be part of the Music Maker Mastery membership, where you can access all the courses that I have made in very full detail, ad-free and in high resolution for less than £6, less than $8 a month. So you'll be able to find that on the website as well. So any more questions that you've got, do drop them down in the chat. Let me know if you watched live or on the replay, and hopefully anything you've maybe found useful, give the live a thumbs up, and hopefully something of value in this live stream today will have helped you make your music masterpiece. As ever, I'm Ewan. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm off to, once again, check out what's going on with these Twitchy cameras, and I will see you next Sunday, 10 AM, live here on Ewan Smith Music. Thanks very much for watching. See you then.